G'day and welcome to AFL Today's wrap for the bottom 10 sides that have missed the finals. I'm Mick Wall, in again for Liam McCallum. I don't know if he's coming back, boys. I don't know what's going on. I might have to join the payroll, to be honest. Joined by Bazzano Leo Mullaly. How are we, boys?
Yeah, not bad. Feeling good. Keen to wrap up some crap team season, let's just say.
Oh, yeah.
It's whack.
Come on.
Absolute whack.
Here, but
well, before we get into it, just a reminder, make sure you're subscribing on YouTube so you get all of the content and follow us across all the social media channels. You got Instagram, you got X, you got TikTok, Facebook. Get around us everywhere to make sure you're not missing any content. Boys, let's just get stuck into this. Now, we're going to go from top down, so from the teams that just missed the 8 down to the teams in that bottom 4 spots. We're going to start with the Western Bulldogs, obviously painstakingly close to the 8, missed out on a bucket load of wins and realistically should have been there, but obviously Freo stepped in and ensured they missed. What we're going to need is we're going to need your best player. Yep. We're going to need a young gun to watch out for, and also what they need to do in the off-season, and, of course, a grade.
Yep.
So let's get it started. Leo, you're going to take the Dogs?
Let's do it. Best player, look, I got to stick with the Bond. I was thinking about this. Ed Richards, I think, probably eclipsed him in terms of season.
That's the category, isn't it?
But Bond is their best player.
Like, I know, but their best
it's
player
a season wrap.
It's a season wrap.
I know,
but
we've
just gone straight into it. Controversy.
Bond is like the most handsome man. I can't say no to him.
Oh, my God.
I can't say no to that.
It's only Leo to be wrong in the first category, the most word of this show.
That's where we're at now.
That's where we're at now.
All right, fair enough.
No, but I just think he's their best player. Like, when he gets going this season, he's been their best player.
Oh.
Negative.
All right.
All right. Can I win you back with this one?
Yeah.
Young gun, Sam Darcy.
Yeah, well, obviously.
That's good. All right, we're back on good terms with that one. What do they need this offseason? I think it's simple. It is defensive stocks. I do question Lobb and James O'Donnell down back at times. I think we saw in that Freo game they were a little bit susceptible. And Jones just can't find a spot in this team, which I find strange. He was emergency last weekend. I don't know. I feel like he would be one that would be in that side for me.
Well, he's always been a bit understated, but he's just so consistent.
Yeah.
Year on year, I just don't know why you. Anyway.
Yeah, it's a strange one. And speaking of strange ones, they apparently want Stephen May. Now, I don't think they've watched much football this season, but Stephen May has not been his best self. He's not. I think he might be entering the sort of twilight he definitely is entering.
Firmly in the twilight.
He's firmly in that. So bring him over. I don't know if that's the answer. If they do pursue that, the ones I would look at, I think Brandon Starcevic is one that they should be throwing some coin at. Yeah. He's just a fantastic lockdown defender, and they desperately need someone on that small forward. Like, you look at their defense, like, who is their lockdown player that can shut down that exciting small? I can't really name one.
Off the top of my head, Lockie Bramble could possibly fill that role.
Yeah, we had him at Hawthorn. He's not locked in.
You know,
that's where I struggle to see him. And Mitch McGovern, the other one, we talked about his contract, like not getting the contract extension by missing one game in our wrap show. Yeah. Is he one that comes in for that third tall role that they could be crying out for? They're the two I want to fight.
Well, they need to, whatever they're going to do there, they need to do plenty down that back line, because Aaron Norton now isn't an option. The way he played forward this year, he needs to stay forward. There's no Jamara now. They may have found another one, we know that. But the bottom line is the forwards operating well. They've probably got the deepest midfield in the competition. Yeah, well, they do have the deepest midfield in the competition. So it's a great shout. All right, we'll move on to Sydney, Marcus. Look, Sydney, I think we can agree the only reason they didn't play a part in September was injuries, because when they got their team back, they were playing good footy and good enough to be in that top 8.
Definitely.
But they did miss. Oh, just before we go, your grade, what was your final grade on the Dogs?
D for the Dogs.
Yeah.
They should be making top 4, top 6 at least.
Marcus, you're going to take the Swans.
Yeah, look, best player. This was actually hard to decide for me, and I'm even changing it on the fly on the run sheet. I had Isaac Heaney written in there because he had multiple 20-plus 5-goal games.
Yeah.
But it's just so hard to leave Brodie Grundy out.
Yeah, I reckon
because he's going to be, for me, he's going to be the starting.
Do you think he'll win their best and fairest?
Brodie Grundy?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great question.
Because if you put it in that way,
I still think
I
Heaney.
think Heaney might.
Well, there you go. But regardless, you can't really go wrong.
It's hard to pick between the two.
They both should be All-Australian. They both had great years.
Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Young gun. Look, this was actually another one that was hard to decide for Sydney because they don't have any stalwart guys that are, 21 and under that are absolute guns that you thought this season they're going to be great. Like you obviously got the likes of Tatoli, Cleary that were in and out of the side, but they never really made a statement. Like Riley Bice was limited games, but then he is also 25. He is already sort of mature.
Yeah, they do. They're in a good position where they're not all aging, but they are really quite established in that mid-20s range, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I've gone with Matt Roberts just to certify a bit more possession. He's a lot cleaner. He's got a lot more games under his belt this season. He's had an increased role, I think, with Callum Mills missing majority of the season.
He was very good when Callum Mills was out of the side, and I think he still found his place when Callum came back in too. So, no, good shout.
So I think he's certified a role on that side at least for the next season and beyond. What they need in the off-season, well, I just think it's a proven tall goal kicker because someone who can certify 50, 60 plus a season, that's why we've already seen them linked with Charlie Curnow, who was rumoured with a move away from the Blues. And I think Amadi is a great player. I don't think he's the number one key tall to look
be good as
forward
a
to.
second or a third.
He's a great second tall, I think, Joel Amadi. So he needs someone with the pressure on him, pressure to take away from him, and he'll get that second tall defender. So,
can I pose a question just off the cuff? If they did land Charlie Curnow, are they all of a sudden like a premiership favourite for next season? If they, provided they stay fit with that midfield,
they have to be in the
they'd
discussion.
have to be top 2 or 3.
Yeah, definitely.
So they were in a
sure.
grand final a year ago. The only problem with them is that Sydney's the sort of team, as we've seen in recent years, love them to make the grand final, but you
can't back them to
kidding
win it. Yep.
if I want to be on them for the flag.
Yeah.
So
Good
it's
shout.
like to go deep, win a minor premiership, win some finals. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and there's some players there that just haven't hit the heights for in these positions like the tall forward, like Logan McDonald. He's just fallen off a cliff really from the heights that we thought.
Go all in on Charlie Curnow and give up your draft capital and just have a crack, right?
I think so. That's the
All
plan.
right, very good.
So
what's their grade?
I'm going to give them a fair C, just because I believe injuries derailed the start of their
It's a
campaign.
pass in the middle for what it is. Like you get to see an exam, you just meh. It's fine.
Obviously, Mills missed a lot. Goulden missed a lot. Papley missed a lot. I think injury sort of derailed. And we saw at the end of the season, they beat some bloody good sides as well towards
Played
the
some
end of
good
the season.
footy.
And played some good footy.
One of the most formed sides at the back half of the year.
All right, let's get on to one of the funnest clubs to review there is, and that's the Carlton.
It's a great way to sum them up.
All right, so Baggers, they showed some signs throughout the year, but obviously disappointing.
Yeah.
We're talking about a team that's recently played in a prelim, a team that played in the finals last year, a team that has been touted as having the best 5 player, top 5 in the AFL, which we know doesn't mean a thing when it gets to finals. It's about how your bottom 5 or 6 perform, not about your best 5. They definitely don't have the best 5 anymore. There is no doubt about that.
Well, they finished 11th, Carlton. So
Yeah.
Pretty grim. Best player I've gone with, George Hewitt. He's had a sensational season. I think
He's great, but I'm sorry. If George Hewitt is your best as Carlton with that list,
yeah.
that is why you're not playing.
He's probably going to win their best and fairest.
I hope so.
I think so.
He deserves it.
Yeah, I honestly, after 6 rounds, we're talking about him all.
It'd be him or
Australian.
Wiedering, right?
Yeah, him or Wiedering. It's got to be one of those two. Now, young gunner, pretty grim. I've gone with Jagger Smith. He hasn't even played a game.
mate, come on.
What? Who else?
You've got to take this seriously. You first of all,
Who else is their young gun?
he hasn't played a game, Leo.
Name one young gun. Name one young
How
gun.
can he be the young gun?
Name
I'm
one
looking
young
here.
gun.
So
At least do someone who's played a game. You could do
can we just recap the first 10 minutes of this show? So the first thing you've said is, I'm doing Bont because of his good looks and he's a better player, even though I know Richard's had a better year, but maybe he hasn't. All right. And now I'm going with their young gun as a player.
Name one other young gun.
He didn't. Well, at least someone who's played a game. You could do one of the Camper Alley boys.
Oh, he's probably right.
It's grim. They don't have
So
anyone.
what do they need
grim,
apart
but at
from
least they've
everything?
They
played a
literally
game.
don't have a young gun. It is literally just Jagger Smith who hasn't played a game.
Oh, my God.
He looked good in that preseason game before
He did.
got
All right.
injured.
So what do they need?
They need a lot.
They do.
Good ball users is an absolute
Just
must.
play a game. I can't believe that.
Let it go, mate. Let it go.
The worrying thing is that we don't have an alternative for it.
If you can name one other young gun, I'll rest my case, but you
There's
can't.
no guns, but like,
Exactly. There you
At
go.
least do someone who's played a game, man.
All right, well, let's get into what they need. They've got the inside contested stuff. They need the good ball users, and
Jesse Mollop.
no, they need to go out and find ball users in every part of the ground.
How old's Ollie Lord? How old's Lord?
23.
Frank
Yeah,
Evans?
it's probably still not.
Yeah, Frank Evans. No, I think he's like same age.
Yeah, jeez.
Liam Ryan. Look, he's most likely going to the Saints. He requested a trade, but I think he'd fit the Blues perfectly. Great kick in that front half of the
I agree with
ground.
that.
And I want to throw out a very rogue shout. Bailey Williams from the Dogs. Now, I looked at his stats. He's gone at 76% kicking efficiency, playing that halfback wing role nicely, and over 80% in terms of disposal efficiency. I think he's one that could definitely play a role for the Blues in that position, and potentially a McGovern-Williams swap with a few
Yeah,
exchange
you'd need a delayed draft pick in there to get that done.
Do they have one? Do they already have one in there though? And also, actually, just thinking off the top of my head, he could be shout for young gun for Carlton. Ollie Hollands, because I feel like he's a
Mate,
similar
is
sort
he
of
a gun,
halfback
though?
winger. Well, is Bailey Williams a gun?
Yeah,
I'm
this is
talking
true.
about Bailey Williams being a gun. I'm talking about
For the young star, yeah. But
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just thinking he would have been a shout. But
Well, they need a lot, and it's not. I like what you're doing here in terms of this. I actually think they should let Curnow go,
really.
I think it depends on outgoings as well.
and I think that you just absolutely get as much capital as you can for him. So what you do is you try and you make it work. You can involve other clubs, and you get him what you need. Because if you have one really good key forward, you're in a better position than some other clubs. If you have two, you're better than just about everyone. So we saw Collingwood do it with Frampton and Cox. We saw Melbourne do it with a cooked Ben Brown and Tom McDonald. You don't need two key forward guns to win a flag. In fact, we don't really see it. When's the last key forward that won a Norm Smith medal? Gary Ablett in 1989.
Yeah.
Plenty of small forwards win them. We've seen that. Midfielders win them. Defenders even win them.
Yeah.
I don't know if having the two keys is the answer. So I think that there is so many other areas around the ground that you need to fix, starting with your kicking and the delivery, because I would suggest working on better delivery to one key forward is far better than just
Bombing it to
continually
two.
bombing it
Yeah.
to two.
Yeah.
So I know that they're tied to Curnow or Mackay, whoever it is. I think that the other one you could look at is maybe you look at Walsh.
Well, yeah.
These are the
Walsh.
options. Maybe it's time to start again.
Yeah, don't mind it. Getting out Walsh, bringing in someone who's a little bit more polished but doesn't get as much as the ball of the ball. Don't
There you
mind
go.
it.
And
Exactly
they're,
right.
They're already losing Jack Silvani as well.
Yeah.
Well,
Confirmed.
that's shocking that they've lost him. They should never lose to Silvani.
No.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And
agree.
and he is so underrated as a player. And if he goes to Collingwood, that'll be heartbreak because he will be there and he'll be in their starting 18 and he will be playing great footy.
Craig McRae did come out and say it's not with us, but he is a lot of talk fly. That he's saying that,
He's going, right? We
He's
know
going,
he's
but
going.
don't
It's just
know
where.
yeah. So
Imagine the
maybe
Dogs got him.
I think
If
Dogs.
the Dogs got him,
Now we're talking.
Now you're talking.
Now we're talking.
All right. So what's the grade for Carlton?
I'm giving them an F. Of
course you are.
Everyone said top 4 and they don't make finals. They were
100% yeah.
pitiful. F.
I've genuinely felt bad for the Baggers.
Probably lucky to still have a coach.
I sat with
Yeah,
some Carlton
true.
supporters on multiple occasions, and I watched them go through it, and I'm like, "Oh, you guys are going through it here."
Yeah.
I saw them at the Collingwood game they lost earlier in the year. I saw them at the Hawthorn games, and I was just like, and it went from bit of fun to actual like, I'm feeling you here,
Yeah.
proper empathy.
Yeah. Fair
Because
enough.
I can't say sympathy. I've never really felt that low at a game of footy. All right, St Kilda. Tell you what, talk
a fun
about a
team.
season of two halves for these guys. Injuries and out the door, and Naz is going to leave, and we're not doing well, and we can't get King on the park, and two, finishing off strongly with a heap of wins, pushing GWS in the last game, and then Naz re-signing. So Saints have had a really interesting year.
Yeah.
Marcus, Who's been their best player?
Yeah, look, I don't know, actually. There's not one
tough one for St Kilda.
There's not one that really stands out, to be honest.
Yeah, it's probably Higgins or
maybe
McRae.
Nas.
Maybe
Nas.
Maybe
Nas.
yeah.
Yeah,
The guy that they just paid $2 million.
Obviously we'll have to go Nazaya Wanganeen Miller, unreal. He's a generational talent.
Yeah, mate, that's a no-brainer. Now, young guns, they're the opposite of Carlton. They have a swag to choose from. Who have you got? Who's the young gun we're watching out for next?
I just think the one that provided the most excitement for St Kilda fans and just AFL fans in general was Taru.
Yeah, I love it.
I should have brought the Viking hat in.
You should have. So they've got so many. Like they got.
Windhager still count as a young gun too?
He was only 21, isn't he?
Yeah.
Windhager. So I think he probably would count, but I don't think I'm just going pure young Taru.
Yeah.
He's going to be great. They're going to be good, St Kilda, with all the young talent. Just now keeping a hold of them and then pushing that towards more wins next season. So, but in terms of what they need in the off season, look, they've already all but secured TDK on an 8-year deal after that awkward goodbye speech from Carlton, who's another one that we didn't mention in Carlton that is leaving.
Yes, yep.
But really, I don't think that's what they need.
No, it's not.
They've got Rowan Marshall, but look, it does. That signing, we assume TDK does go to St Kilda. That signing does allow Marshall to move forward and get more forward minutes. And
they can both play forward, right? So you could literally rotate and go, okay, well, we're going to rotate Marshall and TDK as ruckman full forwards.
I don't know if you want TDK.
But it's just 80-20. It's the 80-20 rule. TDK can rest forward.
But after all, Marshall was drafted as a forward.
Marshall kicks goals.
The other question is, though, if TDK comes, does that mean Marshall leaves, though?
You'd hope not. You just got to...
I think Marshall does love the football club and he does want to stay. He's come out and said
he say that to you.
He came out and said he does want to stay. And he loves everything I said. He said
But we know what they need.
Yeah, we do know what they need. For me, it's a bullish midfielder to help with the clearance game.
They need an elite midfielder.
I think that's just Windhager in time.
Yeah,
which I'll get to as well.
Yeah, but they need an experienced, like they need what Jack Steele was and was going to be. They need what Jack McRae was.
That's exactly my point. I said you can't hope on Steele to return to his best, and we just have a look at the clearance stats, and also I want a bullish midfielder who can also hit the scoreboard as well, because they don't
pretty
get
easy to find.
They don't get goals from midfield. So
got the midfielder tree out the back.
I'm looking at like a Christian Petrarca who's possibly been rumoured to leave Melbourne. He's a bullish midfielder who can hit the scoreboard.
How would they are not going to be able to pay Petrarca?
Yeah,
can you imagine if they did? Like, it would be extraordinary.
Perhaps could you put Liam Ryan in there who could?
Well, that's an interesting one. Could Liam Ryan
that's a great signing.
Yeah. It is fantastic.
But we'll have a look at the clearance stats for St Kilda this season, and because McRae needs help, right? He finished with about 140 clearances. That's 40 more clearances than any other St Kilda player, despite missing the better part of a month, 2 months of footy with injury. And the second was Jack Steele, who just about cracked 100, who was coming on as the sub.
Yeah.
He was like one of the first captains ever to be the sub.
Yeah.
So
you make a good point.
But I do think Windhager can be that player. And if you want to, but you can't just keep going, we'll tag him for half the games this year. We'll get him as a tagger. And then we'll have him as a pure midfielder. So in that, you either put him certified tagger or certified midfielder. And if you put him as a certified midfielder and Ross Lyon does want to persist with that tagging role, I think someone like Alex Cincotta, who's in and out of the Carlton team, who is actually proven to be a more than capable tagger, could be the answer if you want to push.
I can't imagine a Ross Lyon world in which he doesn't want to have a tagger there. So that's a great shout. Look, I know what you're saying as well, Leo. Like, if Windhager becomes that role and Naz is a full-time midfielder next year, they're two players which I think we can all agree, their progression could be rapid. So we've already seen a huge jump in Naz. He doesn't need much more of a jump. Like, his best is already top 5 in the comp. If Windhager has another good jump this year, maybe it's not as needed, but they're still young. They are really young, and you're not getting enough from the others. We're not expecting McRae to come out and have that many clearances again, are we? I mean, like, he's going to start to
his body's going to start
exactly.
I just think they need goal scorers, though. Like, I get the midfield point, but
they do, which is why, in my thinking, was because they're going to get TDK, Marshall moving forward. They got Marshall. I really like Cooper Sharman.
Same here. I love Cooper Sharman.
Signing, if they do get Ryan, is good. They got Higgins. They need King fit, though.
Yeah, Higgins is one of the best small forwards in the competition, but I think King's almost...
Where do you play Philippou? Where are we going to get the best footy out of him?
I think you start him probably 75-25 forward mid, and then you build his base,
midfielder.
get him into the midfield.
Yeah,
because he could also be that player.
Yeah.
But maybe not next year, the year after.
Yeah. Anyway, and great from Ross at the start of the year, and a number of people have spoken about this. I think I heard our man Kane Corns talking about it on SEM when he was talking about the difference between Melbourne and St Kilda this year was the way they set up expectation on their footy club. Ross Lyon was very much, no,
we're not ready.
We're not ready. We've got a young list. We don't expect it this year. And if you think about St Kilda's year, there has been no expectation. The only thing anyone's talked about St Kilda is Nas.
And they nailed it.
TDK. And they got both. Whereas Melbourne, we love each other. We're flying. We've fallen back in love with footy. Everyone's happy to be here. We're going to be so good. And then it was expectation. The coach loses his job.
Yep,
absolutely.
So it's so important. So St Kilda grade?
I think there's a lot to look forward to. So I'm going to give them a B.
Oh,
I'm going to give them a B. I think they're starting to compete a lot more than, especially last year with the bigger sides. They even went out and beat Geelong as well at Marvel, which I know that is probably like their bogey, Geelong's bogey side is St Kilda.
It is.
But they're winning games that they're starting to win, which is like we'll probably get to with North Melbourne. That's what they need to start doing, like win games that they should be winning, and that's what St Kilda are doing.
Absolutely.
We'd all love to see the Saints win a flag, let's be honest. That'd be great.
All right. I don't know about that one.
Port Adelaide.
Port Adelaide. Look, the best player is obvious. Zach Butters. Absolute bull in that midfield. You know what you're going to get from him, and come to Hawthorn, please, and thank you.
Special mention to Georgiades?
Yeah, special. I did have to think about it. Georgiades is in the conversation, 60 goal a year.
Breakout year, can we call it?
Definitely.
I think that we call it a breakout.
It's also one that he stayed fit for. I feel like he always has like a niggling injury here and there. It's good to see him stay on the park.
He overperformed by an absolute mile.
No,
I never thought he could be a number one key tall.
I always thought he was a number 2 or 3 as well.
Yeah.
But he's proven himself. Young gun. I've gone with Horn Francis because I was thinking about it. Look, he is the young gun, but
it's weird to think that he's still a young gun.
He's still 21, 22. But if you look past him, there's not a lot. Like I was having a look. There's Jack Whitlock, who's played.
How old's Bergman? Bergman's only young.
I think Bergman's like 23.
Is he already crept up to 23?
So I feel like these guys, like
a Moraes,
23. Moraes, he's got Manny Liddy I was considering, but Liddy's 23 as well. So they've got a few guys around that 22, 23, not a lot around 19. Maybe it is Jack Whitlock or Joe Berry, but we haven't seen enough of them. Now, looking at Port in the off-season, I think it should be supported either end of the ground, especially if they keep Butters. Let's just say they keep Butters. They've got a strong midfield core with Butters, Bergman, Rosie. You got
Willem
Francis.
Drew goes through
Willem
there.
Drew goes through there.
It's pretty good.
It's a midfield that can...
You can win a flag with that midfield,
absolutely,
no doubt.
Absolutely. So I think going back to what I said for the Dogs, I think Starcevich and McGovern could also work for them in that back line. I just feel like sometimes you don't get the best out of Brandon Zerk-Thatcher, and Josh Sinn's another one that I would like to see more from. So I think those two could come in and be instant upgrades in those positions. And you look at Boak and Rioli retiring as well. I just think maybe they want to have a look at that wing spot and that forward spot respectively to bring someone in at either end of the ground as well. So those are the positions I'd be looking at for Port.
Very good. Grade?
It's got to be an F.
Absolutely.
I think the coaching, the succession plan itself is an F. So they had raps to make finals and they did not, and it was just a bit of a mess in the end.
F for what the F did you think was going to happen when you put 2 coaches in the box? All right, Melbourne, Marcus.
Yeah, I think best player, obviously, again, it was another one like Sydney between 2 players. It was either Max Gawn or Cozzy Pickett, and I've gone with Max Gawn.
Yep.
I just think he's had a more consistent year, and if you're looking for match winners, it's Max Gawn. Young gun, they've actually got quite a few as well.
They do.
Yeah.
We saw some exciting things from Melbourne. So
we did.
This is why I'd be, if I was a Melbourne supporter, I'd be fine with going, okay, Gawn's gone. Gawn stays here until he cannot play anymore. He's a great leader. He's the guy that keeps this club together, and he's the best ruckman we've seen.
So you could say Gawn's not gone.
Exactly right. Exactly right. But others like Oliver, Petrarca,
Rich?
Yeah, they can go.
May Lever.
And then you May Lever, all of them, and then you restart and you go, we're going to build this club around Cozzy Pickett and others, and Harvey Langford, Cozzy Pickett and others. Anyway, but they've got a lot of young guns.
They do. So it was hard to pick. Obviously, you've got Xavier Lindsay. You got Van Rooyen in the forward line. You've even got players like Judd McVie in the back line and Jake Bowie, who was still very young. But I'm going to go even younger. Harvey Langford.
Yep.
He was by far and away. He was probably arguably pretty stiff not to be in the conversation for top 3 for the Rising Stars.
I reckon he'll finish 5th. I was having a look at this. I think he'll finish 5th outside of the main 4 they're talking about.
Yeah.
So I think he'll finish 5th.
Yeah. But he's had a fantastic year and he's going to be a great player as well. So young gun Harvey Langford. What they need in the off season? Look, it's
a lot.
For me, I think it all depends on their outgoings.
Yeah.
In all honesty. And there could be quite a few, like we've just mentioned, like Wally, you even mentioned like all those players that could easily be offloaded. So the strongest rumours to leave, though, are coming out of the defence with May and Lever. I think they're both rumoured to leave. So possibly Mitch McGovern, who's not going to get that contract trigger extension at Carlton. If one of those leave, he could be the one to come in.
Silvani
could leave, but he's rumoured with either the Dogs. He had meetings with the Dogs of the Bombers.
If you've been through what Jack Silvani's been through,
don't go to him. No.
You wouldn't want to go to a club that's had issues. You would want to go, I know that if I go to a Collingwood, that it's going to be fine. Or Western Bulldogs to an extent as well, like a Hawthorn, someone like that, a Geelong, that has just that they are consistent in terms of their ability to be able to get back in and compete.
Yeah.
But also the administration off the park stuff's pretty good. And I think that if I was Silvani, I'd want to not worry about any of the stress, any of the other BS that comes with it, and just be able to focus on my footy. And I don't think you get that in Melbourne.
Silvani is, I think, 28 as well, so he's in the prime of his career, whereas McGovern's 30 now, I believe, 30, 31, so he's still got...
Silvani would be so good at the Dogs.
A couple of years.
Anyway, that's old, yeah.
Also, one thing I think Melbourne do also need is a key forward. I think that's a must.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolute must.
Needed one forever, haven't they?
They're hard to come by, but look, there could be a few on the trade table this season because they just provided way too much pressure on Jacob Van Rooyen this season, especially moving McDonald back at the start of the year. And moving him forward, you could tell he couldn't handle the pressure. He crumbled a little bit under that pressure. He bent himself out of the side a little bit as well.
Did they go for
They
Kerno?
need someone... They could, but would Kerno want to go?
No, he won't. Kerno wants to change. He wants to see change. He wants to go Gold Coast or Sydney.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, and that's the whole. Or there was talk around Geelong. Give me a spell, but like, I think he just wants to surf by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
I think
fine.
For Van Rooyen's development, he needs to come in as a second tall forward. So you need a new number 1 tall that will take the pressure off him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Agree with that. What's their grade?
It's got to be an F. Yeah. After, like you mentioned, all the talk pre-season, they lose their coach. There's rumoured to be a host of outgoings.
If you sack your coach halfway before the end of the year, your season's a fail.
Yep. And they've just finished outside the bottom 4. So
just. Yeah. All right. Speaking of which, Essendon.
Yeah, grim.
I won't make you.
Don't give me that side.
I'm not going to make you relive it, Marcus Leo. You're going to pick Essendon up.
Yeah, best player, Zach Merritt. Lock it in.
Straight.
Love watching him play football. Just absolute underrated star.
He will look so good in brown and gold.
Oh, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Come to Hawthorn. Young gun. I've gone with Nate Caddy in this one. I did consider Archie Roberts, but I just think Nate Caddy's probably got a higher ceiling. And as a forward, just like he's so athletic, so great to watch. So he's another one I'd love on my team.
He's got a little mate down there forward as well, or a big mate as well in May. So you've got two. The forward line for the future at Essendon, with Kako as well, it actually looks all right. The forward line looks like potentially you could have 2 genuine talls and a great small forward. It's the rest of the ground that's the worry.
Well, it's funny you say that, Wally. I still think, while you got Caddy, McMahon, Kako, I think they're really great starts for that future forward line like you're talking about, but they're all still very, very early in their football career, so I don't know if we're going to see that next year or the year after, maybe the year after. But I still would love to see the Bombers go out and get like a Maya check. You know, the Pies are only offering him 1 year apparently. I think if you put Maya check with Caddy and McMahon, I still think that's a really good lineup. Maya check kicks 36 goals this year. Like that's handy.
And works, which I think would be good there. Would you take Myercheck or Fridge?
I would, if I'm Essendon, I'd honestly take Myercheck. Because I just think Fridge sometimes, even if he is gettable, I think Bombers should look at him, but I just think he's a bit more selfish. I think Myercheck is a bit more of a team player.
Marcus, what about you? This is your footy club. Which one would you be?
I'd probably lean more towards Myercheck. Bigger, taller body. You could take on another one tall, obviously. I think Fritsch is very similar sort of, I wouldn't say similar, but we got that guy in Langford who missed a whole bunch of footy.
You forget about Langford as well,
And Langford can kick minimum 40 goals.
Well, he's done it before,
He's done it before.
Yeah.
So, and to have him as a third tall would be great, like Langford, I mean. So to have Myercheck as a number one, Caddy as a number two, and Langford as a number three. Yeah. And possibly you could even throw like a McMahon or a May in there.
Yeah.
I think May's actually going to be all right.
I think another one as well, just off the cuff, is just sort of a good ball user in that midfield. But I think they might already have that on their list. I wouldn't mind seeing Archie Roberts play a bit higher up the ground. Would you consider Roberts maybe as a half-forward flanker using his kick inside 50 rather than out of the back line? Because you've still got Redmond down back who's a good kick.
I don't mind keeping Archie Roberts where he is because I think we've seen so far he's very composed as well for his age. Like there's clips of him where there's four players around him and instead of, panicking and getting a panic handball off, which we've seen with the likes of Dylan Shield who's retiring, he never got that. Yeah. Archie Roberts just holds on to the ball, like weaves his way through and finds a way out. So I think keep him down back.
What's your one last thing? Do you need a new coach?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Because that's the other thing. Okay. We've spoken about players, but I think you might need a new coach.
Yeah, don't mind it. Grading, I'm giving them a C. I'm just giving them a let off because of their injuries. Like they were cooked. I could honestly maybe C's a bit harsh, if anything. Like the injuries they had.
I think C is the grade you give where we don't actually know. It's like Sydney. Yeah. Sydney played. Yes, they finished higher. They had a lot of injuries. Essendon had even more injuries and didn't have as good a list. So it's the same sort of thing. It's that C grade that they're just there in the middle. We don't actually know where they're at because, in fairness, it was just horrible to watch. Yeah. Even as a Hawthorn supporter, I want Essendon to be good so we can play them and it can be fun and like
round
you got
one
the
rivalry back up.
All of that, players kept going down and down. Maybe that's where they need to spend some money in the soft cap in terms of getting some change in that in the
facilities.
Facilities.
Well, apparently they're going to Qatar and I believe somewhere else during the off season. They're sending a select few players over there to test out.
I feel like Essendon do that every year.
happen. Yeah,
they always take an overseas trip somewhere. To get the bodies
Qatar
right.
was like the home of sports medicine.
Apparently it is.
There you go.
Where the money is.
Yeah, well, it certainly is. Don't worry about that. All right. Fascinating place too, Qatar. I would recommend going if you ever get an opportunity. North Melbourne. Wow. North Melbourne. Marcus, this is all you.
Yeah, best player, Tristan Jerry.
Yeah, it's got to be right.
He didn't get in the All-Australian. Look, there's other shout-outs. Harry Sheasel, obviously, he broke a record with most disposals in a VFL AFL game. Paul Curtis was up there. He missed with suspension and injury as well a little bit, but I really like Paul Curtis. I think he's an absolute player. Young gun, who could also be pushed in this conversation because he had a fantastic second half of the season. It's Colby McKercher. Yeah. I think his back half of the year, he's having 30+ every game off the half back line. And another one, he's a good disposal. He's a good ball user. It's just whether you want to persist with him off that half back. I think he'll get pushed obviously further up the ground in future seasons. So Colby McKercher is my young gun. Obviously a couple others that burst on the scene but didn't quite play enough footy like the Cooper Trembass, those sort of players. But what they need in the off-season, boy, how long do we have here?
As long
this
as
could, this could go for
Come
a while.
off the long run.
They're rumoured to have more midfield acquisitions. Like Seriously?
Oh my, yeah. What was it? Windhager.
Windhager,
They don't get him.
Doesn't
They've
make
always
sense.
been rumoured. They don't get him. They never landed. They didn't land Josh Cully. They didn't land Martin. They ended up spending $750,000, $800,000 a year on Jared Pollock, and for 5 years he played
And
most of it in the
And
two.
Jasper Pittard.
That was a bit of a steak knives part of the
just-
deal. It's just this is what they do. I have now just gone, and again, you don't want to kick them all the damn, but like at a point they actually need to improve, because potential is a horrible word in footy, and they roll it out every year.
Yeah.
These are a potentially great team. Do we think Clarko is maybe just the last few years has taken too much of a toll and maybe he's done?
Yeah.
Because we're talking about a guy that reinvented 3 different game plans for Hawthorn,
Yeah.
and won 4 flags over a span of sort of a 10-year period or whatever it was. Like we are talking about, it was less than that, but we're talking about one of the all-time greats through a period of coaching.
So this was his 3rd season at North Melbourne?
Yeah, so it was the interrupted.
It was the
Yeah.
interrupter thing. I get that, but even when he was appointed, I was kind of like, look, I don't think it's the right appointment. I was happy to be proved wrong, obviously, because he is proven to be a great coach. But yeah, in all seriousness, I'd be going, look, if I was a North Melbourne fan, I'd be like, maybe time for a little freshen up with such a young group.
Because the one thing he did have at Hawthorn when he picked up, yes, he had some young guns like Roughhead and Franklin and that come in, but he also had 4 years development into Hodge and Mitchell and Campbell Brown and these sort of players. And then he also had some other experienced players like Trent Crode and Shane Crawford coming on. So he had a nice mix. North Melbourne, it feels like they had no leadership.
Yeah.
They had no real like top-end leadership, and they had nothing but young guys, and that's sort of been a little bit aimless. The addition of Luke Parker, I think, was a really, really smart one.
Yep.
But that's not going to get it done.
I think similarly with Darling was a smart sort of acquisition.
They need to
None of
make
it's
an
worked.
upgrade on Darling though next year, I think.
So what are the we're saying everything, but what is the answer? If you had the keys to the North Melbourne Football Club,
Yep.
and I said to you, like, what are the 2 things you do in the off season? What are they?
I say, in all seriousness, they need a lockdown defender.
Yep.
Preferably mid-size with someone
Starcevic,
with
we're
some
talking about,
experience at a relatively top successful club.
See, I hear that, and I do agree, but we also look at Jackson Archer was injured for a lot of the year. Is that just him?
Although you're just resting your soul on another young.
Yeah, but I think
Young
he's
gun
proven that he could be that.
He could be.
I don't know. I feel like I agree, but maybe someone who's a good kick out of the back
We
line.
talk about Wally talks about potential. Like we said, could be.
True.
You said could be.
You got
And
McKercher is he can be that player that brings the ball out of the back line. I know what you're saying,
But in saying that, like they were close to getting Maynard, which I thought would be like that perfect sort of ilk.
yeah,
Possibly, obviously, the money's
They
not a
missed
question.
again.
They missed again. But it's defensive-minded defenders. Because for me, they don't really have that. Like McKercher, I think he's not
He's a ball
he's
user.
not defense first. He's ball user. Same with Finn
they're
O'Sullivan.
not intimidating. Like nobody,
boss.
key forwards would go. There's nobody in that back line that would worry anyone. There isn't a Maynard. There isn't a Starcevic. There isn't a Hardwick that you go in and go, today's going to be a tough day for me at the office.
Yeah.
They don't have those players.
Yeah,
you're
and
right.
look, their starting back 6 for the final game of the season had McKercher, Foss, and Powell in that. They all don't have like a defensive brain anymore,
Accountability,
really.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
right.
that's why
It's
they
a
got
great
caught out the
shout,
back
mate.
way too many times. So we're looking at options and provide some options now. I think Sean Lemons possibly at Gold Coast, who's 30, who's played some footy in a decent sort of system. Oleg Markov
I don't mind that.
Like the Markov shout.
at Collingwood because they missed out on Maynard. Tom Duday, who can't get a game
Like that shout.
at Brisbane.
Interesting.
Noah
Injuries
Ainsworth.
have put him back though.
They have. But possibly he could get a fresh
Ainsworth is a
start. Noah
great shout,
Ainsworth,
yeah.
who's been injured at the Lions as well. And another one from the Lions. I've named 3 Lions here, but Brandon Starcevic, who has also been rumoured to leave.
Yeah.
I reckon Starcevic going to West Coast, right?
I think so too.
We've thrown his name around a little
He
bit.
fits
but
a lot of clubs.
They're all
but,
good
yeah.
shouts. Markov's an interesting one. What's their grade?
I'm going to give them an A. Because
Very lucky to
I think they were very lucky to
fail.
escape an F, but they did show
The
at
Richmond
stages
The Carlton win.
that they
Carlton
are
was good.
competitive against better sides. They drew to Brisbane,
Yes.
the reigning premiers.
Yeah, they did.
I know that was down in Tassie, but They have pushed a lot of other sides. They had a lot of close losses, but again, we talked about they just need to turn those into wins.
Yeah.
Correct.
So they just escaped with an E.
All right, Richmond Football Club, Leo.
Yep, let's do it. Best player, Nick Voston. He's just so reliable down back. His intercepting and leadership ability is so important to Richmond. Averages 19 touches, 7.5 intercepts, 6 marks. I just feel like if they didn't have him, it's like another 3-goal, 4-goal, like added on to their loss.
Does he get that All-Australian jacket?
I think so.
First one.
Has to.
Talked about it in our All-Australian sort of, chat in our awards show. I think he has to make it.
It's been an open enough year where there isn't like 6 defenders that you have to have in ahead of him. So I think he's earned it over the career. Young gun?
Yeah, I've gone a bit different here. I could have gone Lawler or Houghton or one of these guys, but I've gone with Seth Campbell.
Oh, you're not going with Smiley, who hasn't played yet?
No, because Richmond
sort of your
actually,
angle?
unlike Carlton, Richmond actually have other young guns that are coming
Seth
through.
Campbell is
I still can't
exciting.
believe that. That was great.
I really love watching Seth Campbell play, and 28 goals this season, most for Richmond, and just for a small forward in a bottom 2 side. I think that's really impressive. And he's just a bit of an excitement machine. You saw the backflip in round 1 against the Blues. Like, something happens when he's around the football. I reckon he's a young gun.
Yeah, but you saw a bit more from Sam Lawler in that opening round.
That's true. I wasn't that impressed by that, though. Let's just
Is that more goals than Murphy Reid or the same amount of goals as Murphy Reid?
More goals.
There you go. That's enough said there.
Yeah.
What do they need in the off-season?
Look, I like what they have with the young talent coming through, particularly in that midfield. And they have North's pick. So they've got pick 3 alongside their pick 2. I honestly think they can't really go wrong. They could package those picks for a star player, or they could just take him to the draft. Like, I feel like either way.
Is there an area in the draft area on the ground that they look at?
Well, there's a boy by the name of Cooper Duff Titler. I believe he's a ruckman, one of the best prospects in this draft. If West Coast don't take him, I think Richmond should be all over him as the Nank replacement in a couple of years' time.
Just taking a ruckman at the top of the draft order. When's it work?
Yeah, it is risky, but I think when you got 2 top
yeah,
picks,
I guess, maybe.
But they could honestly package those up, go later in the draft, or go for a star player.
Their future is so bright.
I think they've got a lot of
Experience?
I think experience. Look, I think they've still got it there. I think you got Taranto, you got Hopper, Nank, Lynch, Pressia, these guys, Voston and Broad as well.
Yeah, there is a fair bit there.
There's a fair bit there.
I think you get a forward. I think you get a key forward.
And Lynch work with him and get him. Yeah, okay. I don't mind.
I think with the key forward, so they have Lynch there, who's probably got 1 or 2 years left, but they do have an array of key forwards that are untested. You got Armstrong, Fall, Sims, these guys, Fawcett as well.
Wait and see. There could be.
You've got to wait and see on them. Yeah. I don't mind the idea, but you're just adding another sort of untested guy into that mix.
I know, but 28 goals is your leading goal kicker for the season.
I know, but you got to remember that they also finished. They finished right down the bottom of the ladder. So
but I feel like the other clubs around them, North have got Larkey, West Coast have got Waterman.
Yeah.
Yeah, who do they have?
Richmond, they got Lynch, but
we were
injuries are catching up.
Here's my question without notice. You're Richmond. You're looking at all this draft capital, all these young picks. You've probably got the best crop of young players because Smiley, Houghton, or Lawler,
Trainer,
all 3 of those could be the best player from this draft.
Yeah.
No other team has 3 options. Other teams have 1 or 2. They have 3 players. We haven't even seen Smiley. He was going to go number 1 originally, and then the injuries got involved. So you got 3 guys that may be the best. I think Pendlebury said Houghton's probably the best of them, and we've seen Lawler. He went 1. So they're in a great position. John Longmire is on the market. Adam Simpson is on the market. Goodwin's on the market. Ken Hinkley's now on the market. Do you bite the bullet and go, thanks for a couple of years? Uze's not the answer. Let's go and get a premiership or an experienced coach. Because I know for now, you cannot look at me straight in the eye and tell me that you would continue with Uze instead of getting John Longmire as your coach.
I know, but would it set them back in a way that like Uze has these like relationships with the playing group?
I reckon John Longmire established those relationships pretty bloody quickly.
That's so harsh, considering we feel like how good of a year Richmond have had compared to expectations.
Question:
he deserves
17th and 18th on pressure acts and tackles. Mate, isn't that the one thing they can control?
Yeah, true.
So I look at the brand, I look at the very nice football club at the moment, and that's not Richmond. There's no spite there. I'm not worried about aura. I'm not worried about that at the moment, right? I'm not entering that debate. I'm gobsmacked if that's the answer.
I agree. He's the guy before the guy.
So,
but is
rip the
right
Band-Aid
now
off.
the right time?
Yep, rip the Band-Aid off because it's better than building it up in 3 and 4 years. But the other thing is that there is not going to be this bank of premiership coaches available.
Yeah,
like Adam Simpson, who did a great job at West Coast and then was just sort of like he was the victim of a 2-team absolute footy mad town in the end, and a list and injuries and all of those things. Adam Simpson would be a great option, but John Longmire is one of the better coaches of the last 2 decades.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's hard to pass up on. I'm just skeptical because I just feel like they can build, like they can do it all again.
Do you think Uzo's a premiership coach in the future? That pauses your answer.
It is, but I just don't know if now's the right time.
Fair enough. All right,
you make a good point, Wall.
What's their grade?
C+. I
reckon it's so harsh.
Yeah, I mean, they did finish second last though. Like,
yeah, but they beat their, they doubled
I
their.
know.
Everyone
thought
1.5.
1.5.
Yeah, they get 5 wins. 5 wins, 4 wins.
Or 2.5. Is it 5? Yeah.
5 wins. Yeah, it is probably a bit harsh, but at the end of the day, it is a bottom
fair enough.
team. But
C+. At least you're giving the plus there.
Yeah, the plus, of course.
All right, the last team is the West Coast Eagles. And this was a disastrous year.
Yeah, I really struggled to pick a best player for West Coast, in all honesty. But I went with Liam Baker.
Yeah,
I can see that.
I think he's just been. I know he's going to miss the last game. He's going to miss the starter next season with a suspension.
Yeah, true.
But I think he's just been ultra consistent all year for us. Like
he was as advertised. This is what they brought in, and he delivered what he delivers. He turns up every week. He's a great club man. He's a great leader. He just did it for them.
I want to give and I thought McCarthy probably was a mid-season draftee. He came in probably too late for the season, but he had another great year. He had the like of Ryan Marich as well, who was very good.
Impressive, yeah.
But I want to give a quick shout out to Ruben Jimby's efforts. I think
it's a good
being
call.
out of position, I believe, as a key back, often like he was playing on Jeremy Cameron and like for a player that young, and I think like that's not his best spot of like injuries and whatnot have led him to that position for West Coast this season. So I think still the best is to come. So I just think purely his efforts. You didn't hear a peep out of him. Like he didn't look like he didn't give a crap or like he goes, I'm being played out of position here. He was just putting his all in every single game. So shout out to Ruben Jimby.
Yeah. Great.
In terms of young guns, it's got to be Harley Reid. Doesn't it? Second year.
Signed. How bloody good.
I know. 2-year contract extension, which just secured until 2028. So West Coast fans will be loving that. He's a barometer. We saw snippets of what he can see, even with the pressure of him being the guy already in his career at that club. He's going to be a great, great player.
Absolutely.
What they need in the off-season, look, I've just mentioned him already being the guy. They need experience.
Yeah.
To take the pressure off, especially with the likes of Dom Sheed didn't play basically all year and he's retired. Yo didn't play all year. McGovern forced to retire. Waterman didn't play pretty much all year. Oscar Allen's now moving away from the club and didn't play majority of the season. So they missed a whole scoop of experience there. So if all those guys played this year and they still had the likes of, like a Jack Graham, a Liam Baker, these sorts of players, Tim Kelly still in the side, they would be getting more than one win in the season.
Definitely.
But yeah, with all those out and look like they're getting forced out with injuries or traded, they definitely need more experience and an experienced defender in my eyes.
It's a great shout. Yeah. What was the grade we gave them?
I gave them an F.
Yeah,
obviously, you win one game a year, like it
kind of has to be.
It kind of has to be.
There's not many 1-win seasons going around.
There was a 2% in me that was like going to give him an E out of pity just because of all the names I did mention in the whole season.
It's grim. 1-win season.
Brutal. Yeah. They will be fine because they are the biggest, richest club in the land, really. They're probably not the biggest, but they're the wealthiest, and they win flags in every decade.
One of the best.
They won in the 90s, the noughties, the 2010s. Like they will be fine. They will find a way back. So there you go. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. That was absolutely fantastic. Leo, Marcus, we're going to be back Well, I don't know. Me or Liam, one of us is going to be back to preview the first week of finals. Hope it's me. I'm enjoying this. Big shout out and thank you to Stockhead. Thank you to Gerald behind the camera. He's always here making it work, making us look good, or trying to anyway. Also, make sure you check out all of the Sports Today network. Not just AFL Today. There's AFLW Today with the women's footy starting. You got cricket today. We're heading into a huge summer of cricket. You got the Footy Form Guide podcast. I'm on that. We'll have some stuff ahead of finals. True Bloods, which will be winding up now for the Swans fans. You got Honest Beers. We've got racing shows on punters. We've got Hold All Tickets. We've got Out the Gate, the new show with Alex Donnelly, with Gilbert Gardner on RaceNet. So there's a huge amount of sport and racing for you to consume. If AFL Today is you go, make sure you're subscribing on YouTube and follow us on all of our social channels. Gentlemen, thank you again, and we'll see you next week.